Donald Trump entered the White House promising he would be a different kind of president. When it comes to foreign policy, his critics say Trump has been that, to the U.S.'s detriment.
So you look at NATO, the relationships with our core Western European allies, but you also look at East Asia, South Korea, Japan, where there are significant questions about the sturdiness of the relationships that have led many of these countries to look more closely towards China as a key relationship.
Trump has said the U.S. should not bow to what he calls bureaucrats at the United Nations or pay for the security of other members of NATO. The U.S. has been pressuring other NATO countries to spend at least 2% of their GDP on defense, even as it continues to station troops in Europe to protect them from any potential Russian threat.
It's great to be with you.
And as Trump has tried to build closer ties with Russia's Vladimir Putin, ties his political rivals have called inexcusable in light of Russia's documented meddling in the 2016 U.S. elections. Trump has also spent his term focused on isolating Iran, first by quitting the 2015 nuclear deal, and then by launching what the administration calls its maximum pressure campaign. It's meant to stop Tehran from sponsoring terrorism and building nuclear weapons. China is also an administration target. Trump is trying to ban companies such as Huawei and TikTok from the U.S. market, has closed the Chinese consulate in Houston, and is pulling student and worker visas to ferret out spies. By contrast, the White House has nurtured the U.s. Israeli relationship by moving the U.S. Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, and by unveiling its Palestinian-Israeli peace plan, which Trump says provides for two independent states, guarantees Israel's security, and supports the economic aspirations of the Palestinian people. Palestinian officials have rejected the plan because they say it would give Israel control of security in Palestine, legalize settlements in the occupied West Bank, and prevent the formation of a single Palestinian geographic body.
Obviously, the plan that the Trump administration launched on Israel and the Palestinians didn't succeed at all. But I think that was just a tactical move, really, to try to move toward Arab states making peace with Israel.
So far, only the United Arab Emirates has agreed to normalize ties with Israel. Trump says his foreign policy focus is clear: America first. And experts say that won't hurt him at the polls come November. Voters have other things on their minds.
With the impact of the global pandemic of COVID-19 on the United States specifically, as well as the economic consequences of the pandemic, that's what people are going to be voting on when they go to the polls.
In this election year, as in every other election year, the public's top concern remains the same. Rosiland, Al Jazeera, Washington.